It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hey, Ernie Johnson here, and I'm joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. Tonight, we'll be watching the Minnesota Timberwolves playing against the San Antonio Spurs. Well, for San Antonio, they come into this game having won 3 straight, looking to make it 4. We'll see if they can get it done. And for Minnesota fans, after years of waiting, they finally have something to be excited about. The young Timberwolves are on the rise, Jet.
Maybe the best collection of young talent in the league. Possibly.
Could be.
Tremendous athleticism on the wings, excellent low post play, and they're an exciting team.
And, they got a very respected head coach in Tom Thibodeau. He will demand the best out of them. Nowhere to go but up, Ernie.
Yeah, well, we could go to courtside. That's another place we could go.
Is that up?
Yeah, that's where Kevin Harlan is.
It's
well,
down,
he must
actually.
be up then.
2K Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the NBA.
Traffic heading in and out of downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. The setting for our broadcast tonight. On the road, looking for a win against a Western Conference rival. The San Antonio Spurs are ready for this thing to get started. The excitement of the NBA is on the way. I'm Kevin Harlan alongside Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge is our sideline reporter. And also joining us on the sidelines, the league's most valuable player in 2004, Kevin Garnett. KG, it is great to have you with us.
Okay, how you been, man? It's good to see you,
Waiting
man.
for you to sit right here next to us. That's what I've been waiting
Man,
for.
thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Can't wait to get inside your impressions of this game. It'll be a lot of fun. It's a single game return to Minnesota for the Timberwolves as they'll look for a boost from their hometown crowd. Still early in the season, but the front office and coaching staff likes what they are seeing from this team so far. Better winning percentage than last year.
And I think for the Timberwolves, they've started the season on a high note. We thought it may take a while for them to kind of find their groove, but it doesn't look like they're going anywhere here or any concerns about growing pains.
Yeah, I think that growing process has already taken place. This is a team that already knows what its identity is and where its strengths lie.
We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our very own David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Well, Kevin, Kawhi Leonard has been a great defender from day one, but he has developed into an elite offensive player as well. Now, Greg Popovich says he basically tells me what he wants to do now. He knows he has a green light. I think that's the difference. He's more confident, more aggressive, more hungry to score than in the past. Kevin?
And they need him to be that way, DA. Thank you, especially after Tim Duncan's retirement and Manu and TP getting older. This is Kawhi's team now, for sure. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I can tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, around each other, understanding each other, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
To bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, none of us spoke Italian. If we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here to the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting our IQs. Now we start putting a couple things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special, and that's how that felt
All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. On the court right now for the Spurs, Aldridge and Kawhi Leonard, the two stars at the forward spots. Parker and Green are the guard set, and it's Gasol and at the 5 roaming the paint.
Well, the definition of an effort player. Zhang shows off that high motor, converts off the glass. Nice.
So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up. San Antonio shooting their first free throws. First trip to the line in this one.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
A free throw good from Kawhi Leonard.
And only the 15th pick back when he was drafted, Leonard was projected to become a starter, but never a superstar.
Both free throws good from Kawhi Leonard.
Just solid. Really one of the very best there is at the free throw line.
And KG, 2 decades later, you still look the same. You don't age. You do not.
Listen, man, listen, I wish I could use the Beyonce. I woke up like this, but actually I woke up like this and worked out some more and then worked out a little more to look like this.
You look terrific.
You look great too, man. What's the secrets, man?
I'm following you, watching your advice.
Yeah, right. You've been doing this way, man. Ken, what year is this for you, seriously?
Broadcast in the NBA, 20 years and then 12 years with 2K.
You're a beast, man. You know what I love about 2K, man? To bring the best in for the best. You understand, my dude? Straight up.
That's why we've got you. But Kevin, you play this game a lot, don't you?
Man,
especially when you were younger.
Man, listen, man. 2K is it, bro. Hey, there's no other games out here. This is what it is. If you play basketball, if you online, nobody's playing nothing else. This is it.
Yeah.
2K is the cream of the crop. It's the gang. They know what it is. It's lit. They know what it is. Seriously, they got to do this. They know.
And Butler always looking to find that alley-oop. Just throw it his way, and he'll handle the rest.
It was beautiful the first time, but Under Armour showing us the replay of that tremendous alley-oop again. Another unleash chaos moment. Now here's Green. He's coming off a 10-point game against Dallas. And the rejection by Zhang. Butler kicks to Wiggins. Wide open look. Here's Zhang. And that one clearly a foul. Gets the whistle and 2 shots coming up.
Now this is a guy who was 63% from the free throw line his first year, as Zhang now has transformed himself into a very good free throw shooter.
It's his first trip to the line.
An 85% shooter there, and they've been able to count on him hitting his shots from the line.
And the first one at the line is good. And Zhang drops them both. Spurs trail by 5. Aldridge a screen. Parker kicks to Green. Leonard on the wing. Off the pick and finished off by Leonard.
And guys, that's one of the more basic plays in anybody's playbook, but not to mention also truly one of the best.
And Greg, the pick frees him up, and the dunk caps it off.
Yeah, run your offense with that kind of precision. Not much anyone can do to stop it.
And Minnesota has possession following the bucket by the Spurs. Towns the screen. Here's Wiggins. Rebound San Antonio. They want to keep it rolling here following the win against Dallas.
They needed a few extra minutes to get the W in that game, but they got it just the same.
You know, this was about their perseverance and their conditioning. To me, that was the difference in overtime.
Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor.
Yes.
You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, understand that it's a game of runs, know that it's a game of momentum, and have plays for those momentums and those times. Or coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that
like Doc was kind of in between, a little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
Doc was on fire. I'm sorry. Doc, there was nothing calming about Doc.
I'm trying to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc would rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You need to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there. And it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? That severity, and you play with that importance, and, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So, that's important.
And they've come out with a take-no-prisoners approach on the glass here tonight, guys.
Goes up on the high post. Makes a big height bounce and goes in.
No, really smooth. Andrew Wiggins with a terrific mid-range game.
Spurs trail by 5. And KG, so great to see you. It takes me back. It really does.
A lot of people don't know, man. We got real original ties, man.
Back to the beginning.
95, man. My original man right here.
Here he was, man. You were a thrill a minute. I'll tell you that.
Man,
a thrill a minute.
Now look at us. 21 years later, dog. Man, can you believe
We're still
this?
standing.
We are. They haven't caught on yet. Don't say anything.
Okay. Keep it to you. Okay. San Antonio making a switch here. Ginobili's checked in. Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. At the time.
Unbelievable. Oh, how about the talent, the creativity? Butler with the highlight reel attack.
Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. Just say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up it together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic, because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, if you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right.
They've been sensational on the backboard to start this game.
And he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time. The whistle blowing.
And Parker has such speed and creativity, just causes the defense fits in terms of how to properly guard it.
He'll take his third and fourth free throw shots of the game right here.
Shots.
Free throw good by Parker. And Parker drops them both. And Kevin, your last couple years, you got to mentor some young players. Karl Anthony Towns comes to mind. How good do you think he can be?
Man, Cat is the next. He is what I call the next of the next. Yes, he has the pedigree. He has the work ethic. He has the IQ. Most importantly, the desire. You know, when you talk about players being better, I always like to think about if players know history. He understands history. He's been here before. You follow him through his high school years. He's always wanted to be an anchor. He's always wanted to be a very informative person. He looks for knowledge. He seeks a lot of knowledge. He wants to know what he's up against as far as history. Who am I chasing? What's his number? How many rebounds did he get? What did he do his rookie year? That's what's driving him.
Aldridge, no luck.
Boy, the defense gets into his head and alters his release when he really doesn't have to.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. You talk about Karl Anthony Towns and his willingness to learn. You can't be great, I don't think, Kev, if you're not curious. And I always thought that was one of your best qualities. You were always curious.
Listen, I was super curious, and I always chased that curiosity. Not only that, I started to put the work ethic with that. If you don't put those things together, well, I would always tell him, be humble. Don't ever get to the point where your arrogance, starts to take over. Let your arrogance be on the court and what you're doing and how you're playing. Control your breathing. The young fella has a lot of good bones. I love his makeup. I love the fact that I had a year with him to teach him perspective, to teach him mentality, to teach him that you got to come in here and work on this every day. And the day that you don't, someone has advantage. And he pushes himself. Karl Anthony Towns he's from the pedigree, man. He's one of them ones. I like to think that he's under the umbrella. He's one of my young brothers, man.
Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. Things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
Here's Crawford. He can't get it to go. And the Spurs going the other way now. Last time they met was in San Antonio.
Yeah, and they got beat last time these two teams met, and really free throws were the story.
I love how Gay keeps the ball high, not allowing the defense to block it. His length really comes in handy.
Crawford passes to Patton from 13. Lands soft on the front of the rim and drops. Patton's got his first basket. And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, Jordan. Timmy, yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is our inner animal that you never speak about. We're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal. No one's ever done it. That's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
He did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. And Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
Those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have, but when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You open up yourself to try to, be there and be present with the guys. Yes. Open up, hey, what's up? What's been up with you? How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you're very cordial. And, you're not talking too much about X's and O's, but you do share perspectives. You do share, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil is super deep and loves the philosophy of. I haven't had a lot of time with those guys. Doc Rivers, You know, shout to Doc, and, you know, I know he doesn't get a lot for his philosophies, but he's very enriched with philosophies and styles and bringing teams together and trying to make sure that guys stay
connected,
stimulated. He would always tell us, never get bored with the process.
Wow, that's so intriguing. Interesting to hear. Ginobili against Crawford, and Muhammad has it in the corner. Shot clock at 5. Shoots over Leonard. Here's Gibson. Kicks it out to Crawford. Crawford missing again.
They've been beating them to a lot of those loose balls and rebounds here to start.
Now here's Mills. He's guarded closely. Three-pointer. That shot's good on the assist by Ginobili. And now a 5-point Spurs lead. Minnesota's gone just 1 of 4 from three-point range here in the first.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Crawford, no one around him. The top of the key jumper is on the mark. There's 47 seconds left here in the first quarter. Now Mills. A 14-point game for him in the win against Dallas. Leonard, no luck. And so it's Minnesota with it. They put up a nice win against Utah last time out.
Executed on the road, stayed focused, stayed consistent with who you are as a team.
No doubt. I mean, they played to their strengths, and that's what helped them get this road win. I loved how they played for each other.
Oh, a tough quarter for him offensively. He hasn't been able to give his team a lift when they need it.
Here's Mills. Ginobili outside. It's up a 3. And again, it's the Spurs from deep.
And how about that lefty stroke there from Ginobili? It is a thing of beauty. He is dialed in from deep.
And so the first quarter is in the books. Spurs lead by 6. And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center. And one of the most competitive men ever to play this game, Manu Ginobili, spoke with us about this year.
Just rely on what happened in the past, then you're stuck in the past. And we, many of us, maybe our last shot, our last season, we don't even know if we're going to have another season. So, you know, we want to do as good as we can.
Well, the fire is still there, but the energy and the ability, guys, to get it done physically, let's face it, at this point, Ginobili's mostly gutting it out.
Still, you know, though, he'll either beat you or go down swinging. Just a tough individual.
And the first quarter is in the books. Second about ready to get underway. And taking a look at San Antonio's performance here. What do you think they've been doing or not doing?
Tough defense throughout that first period, and it's really paying dividends.
Well, I think there's a level of physicality with them right now and not allowing the opponent to feel comfortable getting into their heads just a bit.
On the court for San Antonio here in the second. Mills teams up with Green in the backcourt. Rudy Gay is out there with Laverne. And it's Anderson in at the 3 spot. And we've got an update here, so let's catch up with David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. But he is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player. Kevin, what a lot of fans don't get to see is all the work players do behind the scenes, at home, before games, after games, on off days. Can you talk a little bit about that? Getting your body ready from the end of one game to play the next game. I mean, I've seen it, but you talk about it.
Yeah, the wellness starts right after you stop playing. The minute you come off the court, you're iced. You know, you got to do progressions where right after the game you shower. Obviously, you got to get massages. You got to get some type of wellness on your legs just because you're running so much. People don't know that you have to lift weights. You know, when we was in Boston, we lift every other day. We had a strenuous strength program. Shout out to B-Do. Brian Dew, who was our strength coach up there, never let us get a day off. And if you didn't lift weights, then we find you as a players find you. Because it's important for you to come in here and be strong. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be So you have to lift. And then actually, you practice. But after practice, you have to put time into your own personal game.
Right. So much goes into it. It's amazing. Both free throws good from Anderson. Quarter number 2 with just over a minute gone. Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev, I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life,
which you did,
which I did,
yes.
And so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, coming home through the weekends. I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family. You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together. You have to make it work for you, and you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand. And you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider.
Boy, he hasn't given them much of anything tonight. He's got to look for his own shot a little less and keep the ball moving.
Here's Crawford. Minnesota making some changes. Karl Anthony Towns checked in for Patton. Wiggins comes in for Shabazz Muhammad. And it's Jimmy Butler coming in for Jamal Crawford. The Spurs also with the sub. Aldridge is checked in. Kevin, with intentional fouling, with poor free throw shooters being sent to the line currently, the Hack of Drummond, Hack of Shaq, all this stuff, Hack of DeAndre Jordan. Yeah. What are your thoughts on all that?
You know what? I like it. You know what it's going to do? It's
part of the strategy?
It's going to put the strategy, and this is part of it. And you know what you got to do? It's going to make all those guys you just named work on their free throw. Because if any advantage that you have in the game, coaches are going to expose it. Coaches are going to expose all weak points, as they should, as any sport, and as any great is going to expose any weaknesses in defenses. He's going to look to expose those things. So this is one of the things that dictates the game, and these guys are going to have to be better. It's going to push them. It's going to make them better players.
Gasol kicks to Anderson. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Here's Aldridge. San Antonio again missing. Timberwolves trail by 7. Kevin, it's been said that some guys hated to play against you. Is there someone you hated to play against for whatever reason?
No.
You enjoyed every challenge?
I enjoyed every competitor, because on the offensive side of the ball, I was always challenged when to use counters or what type of moves I was using. I took a lot of pride in having a variety of moves for different types of defenses. And each guy is going to bring out a different side of the offense in you. And then turning around and then being that defender and being able to guard the post player or the post or whatever the post player was or whatever. Rasheed Wallace was always a tough guard. Tim Duncan was always a tough guard. Zach Randolph was always a tough guard. Chris Webber, Dice, Karl Malone.
Great names. Kevin, you accomplished everything individually as a teammate. Anything that you wish you would have done, any player that you wish you would have played with, any regret in that form that lingers with you in retirement?
No, nothing lingers. Obviously, you sit back and think about, I would love to play with Cole for a year, or got to team at least play in the U.S.
You had a chance to. Wasn't it like a rumor at one time?
It was. My connection with Paul was just the opportunity when I waited. It's what it was, but Cole,
you wouldn't have traded the Paul Pierce thing for anything.
No, I wouldn't have, because Paul and I are true brothers. The connection, and then the team, Ray, my connection with Doe and then Doc and all of that. So I wouldn't have given that up for anything. But if I could have played with one person, probably would have been Cole. Summertime, I say USA because that's when you get to play with each other and all that, and you get to kind of beat up on everybody else and be USA or whatever. So that would have been super fun. But it's all good. Shout to Mama, you know what it is. But I have no regrets, man. I left everything on the floor. I enjoy watching the game more than ever now, dog. I'm not even going to front. I enjoy having my popcorn, my little ritual, my boys, and we sit back and we watch the game and loving the game.
Yeah.
Now, gentlemen, 2 shots. Loose shots.
That free throw missing.
And didn't have a single free throw in that first quarter, but he started to play with a little bit more of an edge to his game here in the second.
Good on the second free throw. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lou, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. Kevin, some of the relatively new rules protecting players, the breakaway, the flagrant 1, the flagrant 2, are you in favor of all this stuff?
I'm in favor for players' health. Anything that is going to be detrimental to a player's health, I feel like, the player's health is the first and only obligation. That's all I've ever worried about. Foul play, I think every player should always understand it's a way to foul, it's a way to be able to, send a message. But in the heat of the moment, I get it. Things happen. I would just hope that all players out there will continue to, care about and respect the game.
Regular season grind, 82 games in the regular season. In your opinion, is that the right amount of games for teams to play, or would you like to see the schedule shortened where there's more practice in between, more days of rest, more days to recuperate?
Man, look.
You got a big smile on your face.
For the old school, Kev, 82 games is how you got to come through it. This is, listen.
It's a war, isn't it?
Listen, it is. And you know what? This is the tradition of it, man. This is what it is, bro. If you don't want to go through this and go through this hall and this road of this journey, then cool. Go to another league. They got shorter games. They got other awards that you can, This is the NBA. This is what it is. This is the grind of it. And ones that have come before you have done it, just like the ones that's after you is going to do it. This is what it is, bro.
Here's Teague. Kicks it out to Wiggins. He dishes it to Teague. Feeds to Towns. Over Gasol. Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down now to just 4 points with the basket from Karl Anthony Towns. Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Chris Webber, Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. And he recovers it.
And really, Gasol does an incredible job getting his hands up in the air, which results in a ton of rejection.
Green with the ball. He provides a good amount of offense for the team, averaging around 11.5 points a game. Towns with the steal. Minnesota with the ball. Here's Gasol. Rebound by Jang. Jang's got 9 rebounds now tonight. Kevin, we've all seen the evolution of the perimeter style offense. Do you think it'll ever go so far that we'll see the game come back to an inside-oriented offensive scheme?
I think right now that with pace being the way it is now, Kev, I don't see it necessarily going through or going back to playing through the post. Although you have to have an alternative. I think that you just can't be all three-pointers and layups. I think you have to have a constant flow of inside-outside. I think it helps to have a post player. I think having a post player or a true post player that can score and dominate the middle opens up threes and opens up ball movement.
You played during the transition too, didn't you? From a grinded-out type of game inside to the spacing we have now.
I did, and I'd like to say that, you know, Doc Rivers started the small ball, and, you know, we were very, very keen on the small ball. So I think in today's game, you got to be able to shoot the three now and be able to handle the ball and put the ball on the floor and make decisions. So it shows that the game is transforming.
Here's what Minnesota's going with right now. Taj Gibson's checked in for Gorgie Dang, and it's Brooks in for Jeff Teague. Then for the Spurs, Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. Ginobili comes in for Danny Green, and it's Mills in for Tony Parker. So he gets them both. Timberwolves trail by 8, and KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level.
Yeah.
When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Cole go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down one-on-one, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo, and nothing speeding them up.
Special players.
Special players, bro. I get a front row seat of seeing that. Ray Allen, the same thing. He had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
Kawhi Leonard's checked in for Kyle Anderson. Up again. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points.
They've been the better rebounding team by a healthy margin, but it hasn't been enough.
Mills dishes to Leonard. Fires the three. Shot's good by Mills. Mills has got the lead up to 9 now for San Antonio. Minnesota's gotten into trouble with the three ball in the second quarter, only hitting 1 of 5 attempts. Brooks kicks to Wiggins. Over Ginobili. And it's Wiggins missing.
Well, I'll tell you, it hasn't been his best quarter, but we know he won't get discouraged. This guy will keep grinding.
Leonard on the wing. And the rejection by Towns.
Well, that play is so much about his reach and determination affecting the game defensively.
And it's Brooks in the corner. The three-pointer, no good. Spurs leading by 9. Leonard, the pass to Laverne. Towns with the steal. In the corner, it's Wiggins. Brooks outside. They set the pick. Butler kicks to Towns. 6 to shoot, and that's going to be a travel. And some great passing here so far. Let's check out this chart that breaks down where the assists have been coming from for Minnesota.
And their guards are taking on the majority of the passing and assisting for the team, just as you might expect. The bigs doing their part by getting to good spots inside and making themselves available.
Muhammad, he's checked in for Minnesota. Crawford comes in for Butler. Rudy Gay's checked in for the Spurs. It's deflected. Mills with the steal. Kicks it out to Leonard. Outside, Ginobili. Muhammad grabs the board.
Well, I'll tell you, still looking for that first 3 of the second quarter. He had one to open this game in the first.
Crawford against Leonard. Step back shot, and the shot is good. The Spurs lead has been cut down now to just 7 on the bucket from Crawford. And Mills kicks to Ginobili. There's the screen. He's looking for Leonard and finds him, and Gibson sends it back.
Boy, Gibson's so good at timing these rejections. Twice on the pipes from Taj.
Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. And Doris, one of the things that really strikes me about KG, he's as smart as he is athletically gifted. What a treat to have him join us tonight.
Well, I'm in awe awe of his enthusiasm. And it's not just when he's talking, but when others are talking as well. There's so much life to the conversation. Everything he brought to the court for 21 years, he now brings to the booth.
Patton, he's checked in for time.
They're fortunate to be in front, given how shaky he's been from the floor tonight.
Crawford with the ball. Picked up by Ginobili. Crawford dishes to Brooks. Hills with the steal. There's a 4-second difference from the shot clock to the game clock. Here's Gay. Takes it out to Leonard. Three-pointer. Buries the long-range jumper. Leonard's got 15 points.
Defensively, this is what you know. He's coming off a hot game and looking to keep it rolling.
Well, you want to slow this man's roll right now if you're the defense, because you've got to make somebody else beat you. He's cooking right now. You know, the assist has to go to the screen on that play. Gave him all the room he needed to rise and fire.
Buried from outside. But I don't know. I think we may see a review here. That was pretty close. And we are not going to halftime just yet. Officials signaling they are going to review the tape.
And to me, guys, it looks pretty clear-cut on the instant replay. I mean, the ball was out of his hands in time. I think they'll confirm this one pretty quickly.
They're going to switch the call. There is no doubt, in looking at the replay, that he got it off in time.
Well, it's good they decided to take another look at it. I know some folks don't like how replay slows the game down and interrupts the flow, but when you have it there, you got to use it.
And so it's the San Antonio Spurs in control with a 9-point lead to end the quarter. They've played the better game so far, but their work is far from over. And now we'll send it over to David Aldridge, who is standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thanks so much. Kawhi, you seem to be so at ease out there. How much is that helping your game?
It's helping me out a lot. Just coming in the game relaxed, just with more intensity. I mean, my teammates are getting me involved on the offensive end. I'm playing great on defense. We just got to keep it up second half and not let it up.
Hey, Kawhi, thank you very much for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David, and we'll be right back after halftime to start the third quarter. See you in just a bit.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello, folks. Welcome back. Ernie Johnson here with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. This is the halftime show on 2K Sports. It's San Antonio out on top at halftime. They lead by 9 points. Shaq, what did you see from San Antonio?
Well, they were really in attack mode. The most telling stat is how many times they got to the free throw line. They weren't all afraid to get their hand and get those elbows dirty. You know, I'm a specialist when it comes to the elbows, Ernie.
Kenny, let's get your insight on the Timberwolves.
Well, they're trailing in this game because they're shooting under 35%. Now, I've got to give a lot of credit to the defense, forcing the shooters off their spots and making them feel uncomfortable. But if someone takes something away from you, you have to be able to adapt. So they need a whole new game plan because right now they're in trouble.
And now, folks, just moments away from the start of the third quarter.
We come back to Minnesota now with a striking look at the 10th Avenue Bridge, downtown Minneapolis, off in the distance. The second half just about to get going here. Kawhi Leonard really has his fingerprints all over this one.
Yeah, so far they haven't found an answer for him. A scoring machine here in that first half.
And it's mattered not, Greg, whether he's been spotting up or creating for himself. He was unstoppable, and you hope it carries over to the second half.
And now the third quarter about to get going.
Well, you think about Tom Thibodeau as the architect of so many great defensive teams. For Minnesota, it took some time on the defensive end, but he feels like this team is starting to turn a corner on that end.
Butler teams with Wiggins as the deadly wing duo. Down low, it's Jang and Towns. And it's Teague in at the one spot. So that's who Tom Thibodeau starts the second half with.
And that's how you want to come out of the locker room. He is fired up.
Absolutely perfect start to the half, setting the tempo right away with an easy opportunity at the cup.
Towns, a screen on Parker, off the pick, and the dunk by Towns. Great game for him, double-double down. 10 points and 13 rebounds.
Well, this is what makes Towns so dangerous. Pick and roll, pick and pop. He can take you either way off that screen.
And stolen by Butler. And now the Timberwolves on the break. And the dunk by Towns.
Oh, you got to feel for a guy getting dunked on like that. I mean, he's got no shot to stop that unless maybe he can pick up another foot somewhere.
Screened by Parker and stolen by Jang. And here we go. Towns heading to the hoop. And the dunk by Towns.
Boy, for a man his size, Towns does a sensational job running the floor.
And for Thibodeau, you simply can't play for him unless you exert maximum effort on defense. Doris, he can be tough, but fair in what he demands.
Well, as long as you're willing to work hard every single day on every possession, you can play for Tom Thibodeau. This is a guy who constantly preaches the importance of the little things, and he wants proper defense to become second nature for his team.
Just a little over 90 seconds gone in the third quarter. T kicks to Towns over Gasol, and the shot is good. The Spurs lead has been cut down now to just 3 in the basket from Towns. San Antonio's gone 5 of 9 when they put up the three-point shot tonight. Parker passes to Leonard. Gasol kicks to Leonard. And count it, and a chance for one more at the free throw line.
And he's got the athleticism and strength to be a powerful presence inside. Leonard never afraid to get in and mix it up down low.
And Kawhi Leonard, the only player other than Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon to be an all-star starter. Greg win the Defensive Player of the Year and win a Finals MVP award.
And Kevin, I think it's fair to say that's some lofty company to be in. You know, you're worried with the retirement of Tim Duncan. Would the Spurs go through a lull? And they found another two-way superstar to kind of build their team around, much in the same in terms of mannerisms as a Tim Duncan.
Timberwolves trail by 6. Now here's Teague. Looking at his numbers, he's averaging about 6.5 points a game. Jang with a screen on Green. Wiggins dishes to Towns. That ball's ice feed that time from Wiggins. 18 points for Karl Anthony Towns. Spurs leading by 4. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sidelines.
Kevin, the Spurs' Greg Popovich talked about developing players. He said, our method is usually tough love. I don't think coddling works, and beating them to death mentally doesn't work either. You give them a clear picture of what's demanded, show care, understand what makes them tick. If that doesn't get through, you get rid of them. Kevin?
And the military background of Popovich plays a part in this way of thinking, David. It's why the Spurs have been so successful for so many years. Teague against Parker. Parker sets the screen for Gasol. Leonard attacking. Here's Aldridge. Hits the layup after the sweet pump fake to freeze the D. Aldridge has got 8 points.
And there isn't a lot that they're doing well right now defensively. They just seem to be disconnected defensively in the second.
Here's Jang, and there's another one for the Timberwolves.
Just impressed with the teamwork out there, setting the table for one another.
Parker kicks to Aldridge. Up top, Leonard. Over Teague. But they recover it. Out to Parker. Rebound, Minnesota. Towns has got 14. Yep, 14 rebounds for him tonight. Wow. Butler, no good. San Antonio leading. Leonard on the wing, covered by Wiggins. Here's Gasol. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him. Gasol's got his first basket.
And Gasol excels from that mid-range area. If you leave him open from there, you're going to pay the price.
Towns, the pass to Teague. Good, and the assist goes to Towns. Teague's got his second bucket of the night.
and the crisp passing has opened things up for them offensively.
Teague against Parker. Outside Gasol. The feed now to Leonard. Pass to Aldridge. Clock at 6. Back to Leonard. Here's the 3. And they turn over the 24-second buzzer, signaling the shot clock violation.
And how about the numbers here for Green? He's averaging 11 points a game, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. And those numbers, solid, not spectacular, and sometimes what you see is what you get.
There's no doubt. This is a guy who understands his role, knows he's got to give you quality minutes, and that's what they expect from him.
Towns the screen. Wiggins kicks to Zhang, and that one goes out of bounds. Last touch by Gasol. And now you see the 2K leaderboard. Not only have these teams caused a lot of turnovers over the last 10 games, but they've scored off them as well. Number 5, the Spurs.
I mean, they've gotten a little more aggressive defensively. You can become a more confident team on that end, and so much of it, I think, has to do with forcing turnovers and creating offense. Man, he is just really in a flow right now. That field goal percentage has gone through the roof.
Gasol, a screen on Teague. Here's the dish to Aldridge. It's Anderson with the drive. He got right to the cup using that screen. Anderson's got 9 points.
Now, how about how he sets his man up there, runs him right into the screen, and then gets the basket.
Here's Towns. Rebound, San Antonio. Aldridge has got double-digit rebounds now in the game. And, Greg, you wouldn't expect it from a Coach Thibodeau team, but defense was an issue for the Timberwolves last year.
And the Wolves brought in Butler to help with offense, but more importantly, his defense. And Butler, familiar with what Thibs likes to do on both ends of the floor, has the leadership the team needs, particularly on the defensive end.
Shot is good, and the Spurs lead is cut down now to just 2 points with that basket from Karl Anthony Towns. San Antonio's gone 0 of 2 from deep to start things here in the second half. Parker dishes to Gasol. Back to Parker. Good, and the assist goes to Gasol. 8 points for Tony Parker.
And they're passing the ball very crisply here.
Timeout called, first of the game for Minnesota.
And the Spurs last season, how about setting the all-time record for consecutive winning seasons with 20? This is a group that's won 50 or more games in every one of those seasons, except the strike-shortened one in '99.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Laverne, he's checked in for Gasol. Gay comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Danny Green. And it's Mills in for Parker. Brooks kicks to Gibson. There's the pass to Crawford. Gibson setting the pick for Crawford. Floats one up. He can't hit that time. Some solid defense from Gay. And Greg, for the Spurs, they're so competitive. It's inevitable. They just win year after year.
Yeah, but that big three of Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili, the all-time winningest trio in the history of our league, had a lot to do with it. And as that era comes to an end, they're doing a terrific job of just picking up new star talent without skipping a beat.
Spurs leading by 4. Anderson passes to Ginobili. He kicks to Gay. Nice ball movement by San Antonio. Here's Anderson. Loses his man off the screen and lays it up and in. Anderson's got 4 points now in the quarter. And for the Timberwolves, they're shooting 40% from the field. Gibson the screen. Back to Muhammad. Lays it in without an inch of room around him. Muhammad's got his first points of the night.
And they're showing much more focus here in the second half. More effort as well. And their offense starting to show signs of life.
And here's Mills. He's got 6. They've been struggling here on offense.
Yeah, a bit of a dry spell for sure.
Here's Patton. And, there's a whistle. He was going up for a layup. And while it looked like there was some contact, I wasn't sure they were going to call it a foul shot or not. But sure enough, they have. So he'll head to the free throw line. Doris, you went from the basketball court right to the broadcasting booth. Having seen the game now from an analyst perspective, what might you go back and tell Doris, the player?
Yeah, I'd probably tell myself to throw myself completely into the vibe of the team, to never, even if I were struggling as a basketball player, to turn inward. I would always say turn outward to your teammates and invest in what's going on with the group. And then that seems to make everything fall into place.
And mentally, too, I think you've got to prepare and focus like you would as a player when you are broadcasting.
No question about it.
Spurs have gone 8 of 14 on their shot attempts here in the third. Some pretty nice work. And Anderson kicks to Gay. Down low. Shot's good by Mills. Mills has got his 3rd basket of the night right there.
Nice pass here to set that basket up.
Outside Gibson. Muhammad against Anderson. Muhammad dishes to Gibson. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot. Well, with Taj Gibson on the court, you know you're going to get great energy and intensity, and you're going to get it at both ends of the floor.
Yeah, there's no question. The fervor that Gibson plays with on the defensive end, to me, rubs off on his teammates. He never takes a play off. He works endlessly to make life tough for his assignment. This guy is underrated as a defensive force in the NBA.
2 shots.
And that one misses. And the Spurs, Greg, one of the best defensive teams in the league for 2 seasons running.
And it's really all about execution. They seem to just move in concert and stay connected. No silly fouls. And with their length, nothing easy inside.
Good on the second free throw.
Well, Taj Gibson is a pro's pro. The rugged power forward is known for his consistency. You can count on this guy game in and game out.
Now Mills. He's got 8. There's a good screen. Gay kicks to Laverne. Anderson right side. Off target from outside.
And on an open look like that, he's very gifted at making the weak coverage pay.
Boy, bodying up there, making sure to get position. That's really nice rebounding technique.
It's Ginobili on the wing. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. Taj Gibson picks one up.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
And Doris, at the end of last season, the Timberwolves debuted their rebrand plans for this season.
Well, it was the right time, I think, to keep the logo fresh, and the team did a great job. You feel as if this will be the constant look for what is a new era in Minnesota basketball.
The first one falls. The Spurs offense, one of the most efficient in the NBA. It's all predicated, Greg, on motion.
And it's ball movement and player movement. They kind of want to warp the defense and force mistakes, and that's when they strike.
Both shots good from the stripe. Timberwolves trail by 5. Crawford outside. Pass to Patton. And he could not get that one to go. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the line for 2.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
He's 0 of 1 from the line, missing on his first trip.
Not the best statistic for him in terms of his performance at the line. Very low numbers.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
And the first one drops. And Doris, as many NBA teams are doing, the Minnesota Timberwolves now have their own G League affiliate.
Well, and to me, this is a smart move by the organization, Kev, because it gives them a lot of flexibility in how they develop players. It's a very useful tool given their young talent. Only positives have come from teams purchasing G League affiliates.
He's off on the second.
And the Timberwolves, a team that is evolving how you imagine they would with Tibbs running things here. Deliberate approach on both ends of the floor and really looking to dominate the rebounding margins.
Ginobili, the pass to Mills. Off the mark there with the three-point shot.
And close to making the defense pay for the lax coverage that time.
Greg, in the areas you just talked about, rebounding and pace, the Timberwolves are very much where they want to be.
Yeah, the team just looks to make the most out of their possessions and try to beat you through efficiency. They have players that can get easy transition points when the opportunity presents itself, but in general, they aren't trying to speed the game up.
Muhammad with it, picked up by Ginobili, passes to Patton. He feeds it to Crawford. Launches a three, hits it from three-point range. Crawford's got 9 points.
Ooh, finally hitting one from range. That's his first three of the night.
Mills dishes to Ginobili. To the inside. Kicks it to Laverne. Minnesota with the rebound.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there.
Shots good by Mills. Mills has got 4 this quarter.
Well, I'll tell you, he's been a go-to guy for them as they've taken this lead, and he keeps coming.
Pass to Patton. Tries again, and it's good on the layup. He has 7.
I'll tell you, good things always come when you've got players who work hard for second chance opportunities.
Here's Mills. He's got 10. And Anderson has it in the corner. They get the rebound. Hey, no good. We're at the end of the third, and we've still got a close one. Spurs out in front, up by 1. And we'll get it going after this from the Target Center. And now a sneak peek into the huddle with Greg Popovich.
Only difference is competitiveness. Stick with the strategy, stick with each other. Long night, keep competing, keep pounding, keep pounding. It ain't about any one person, it's about us and how we do.
Banding together the guys, Greg Popovich preaching toughness and unity.
Yeah, and Pop really zeroes in on the fight. He's one of those guys, if you don't play your hardest, you don't play.
All right, the fourth quarter of action getting underway. We've had a great one so far with both sides coming to play. On the floor for San Antonio starting the fourth quarter. Leonard and Gay are the forward pair. Mills and Manu at the guards. And it's Laverne in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Ginobili against Crawford. Gibson the screen. Crawford passes to Patton. Bucket is good.
And they've really gotten on track here in the second half. After that shaky start, the field goal percentage steadily climbing. They couldn't make anything in that first break.
It's deflected. Here's Crawford. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Crawford's got the game tied up here for Minnesota. And Mills gets to Leonard. Shoots over Muhammad. And Leonard gets it to go. Leonard's got 20 points.
Well, you see the excellent skill set. And this is when you want to make an impact.
Don't you love seeing this guy rise to the occasion, going right at the defense and getting it done in the clutch?
And the Timberwolves call time here. You have to like what we're seeing so far from Kawhi Leonard.
Boy, he's been relentless. And to this point, they haven't had an answer for him on the inside. Let's see if they make some adjustments coming out of the timeout.
So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Pau Gasol is checked in for Laverne. LaMarcus Aldridge comes in for Rudy Gay. Green is checked in for Manu Ginobili. And Parker subbed in for Patty Mills. Okay, well, let's check in with David Aldridge, who's reporting from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin. Well, during the break, I heard Tom Thibodeau as he talked with the team. He knows they struggled at the free throw line, but he actually looked at the positive. He said, if we continue to get to the foul line, good things are going to happen. But we have to keep getting there. Maybe that'll take the heat off him a little.
Thank you, David. For San Antonio, they've gone 2 of 3 from the field to get the fourth quarter started. Aldridge a screen. And Parker, here we go. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
And LaMarcus Aldridge really possesses tremendous shooting touch when you consider this guy's basically a 7-footer, and he's increasing that range. Last season, up over 40% from 3.
And that one falls for LaMarcus Aldridge. And Aldridge doesn't shoot a ton of threes, yet he still earns his keep in that mid-range.
Yeah, on that left block, back to the basket, and with his size, that turnaround, Jay, is just about unstoppable.
And so he hits both.
Impeccable from the line since halftime.
Timberwolves trail by 4. T kicks to Zhang. Timberwolves passing it around. Here's Towns. Second chance shot. And Gasol sends it back. Leonard with the ball. Now defended by Wiggins. Gasol is screen on Butler. It's Parker with the drive. An easy layup after coming off the pick. And the Spurs lead by 6.
And Parker just super efficient at shooting from inside the paint with shots like that one.
Towns against Gasol. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Boy, when you watch Cat play out there, you can forget exactly how young he is. The poise and manner of a 10-year vet, and very aware of what is happening on the court.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
The free throw drops for Towns. And while Towns does play beyond his years, he is definitely young, to the point where he was actually younger than every member of both starting 5s, Doris, in the national championship game last season in college basketball.
I think it's got to be a scary thought for the league that Cat is still years away from what should be his prime. It's rare to see a player so young have such great court awareness. And I think that's the thing that separates good players from great players.
Aldridge left side. He's feeling it, and right through it goes. Aldridge has got 10 points in just the second half.
And he has starting to turn it on now after that slow start.
Zhang, a screen. Baseline jumper. Rebound, Kawhi Leonard.
You can see the frustration in the quarter on his face, especially with his team trailing.
Parker kicks to Gasol. Back to Parker. Dishes to Gasol. Parker outside. His three-pointers off the mark. Timberwolves trail by 6. Here's Teague. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
And really one of the quickest guards in our league. Jeff Teague just puts tremendous pressure on your defense when he's attacking the paint.
And the book on T, Greg, is to make him an outside shooter. You don't want him getting to the rim.
I mean, he's a good finisher around the rim. His outside shooting, although streaky at times, not bad, but not great either.
Shooting 2.
The first one falls. And Jeff Teague grew up in Indianapolis, a Pacers fan. He actually expected them to draft him back in 2009.
What a journey, though. He expected to be picked by them, but goes 19th to Atlanta. But after 7 years, finally ends up with his Pacers. Now moving on to Minnesota, playing alongside the great Jimmy Butler and the rest of that young team. Let's see what happens here.
And they came out of the locker room after halftime with a much more physical approach than what we saw in that first half.
Green dishes to Gasol. Aldridge a screen. And there's the whistle on the shot. Took the foul. Shot misses. He'll be shooting 2. There's the foul. That's against Minnesota.
And the long arms of Gasol wreaking havoc on the D. They don't know what to do with him when he's going up with a shot like that.
That free throw good from Gasol.
And Pau Gasol, one of the most skilled 7-footers this league has ever seen. Whether it's the low post, high post, flaring off picks, you want the ball in his hands.
So he hits 1 of 2 from the stripe. And Pau Gasol, a very good perimeter shooter, starting to stretch his range out beyond that three-point arc.
Yeah, his face-up game is becoming more and more prominent. Working from that elbow, he's become more of a triple threat. He can shoot it, drive it, and pass at a high level.
Parker passes to Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
And he just dangles from the bucket after sending that one through.
And you can see which team has the swagger right now. Teague with the ball. Outside Butler. He dishes it to Towns. To the middle. And finished off by Jang.
What a quick read by Towns. Always keeping his head up.
Spurs leading by 3. Good-looking screen by Gasol. Butler against Green. Towns with the defensive effort.
No doubt it's been a rough game for him. I don't think he's going to lose any sleep over it as long as they hang on to the lead the rest of the way.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Gasol setting the pick for Parker. Makes it off the glass.
And Parker in the pick and roll, he's as good as it gets.
Now here's Teague. Outside Butler. Jang a screen. Towns. And there's another one for the Timberwolves.
And really, after trailing the entire game, they've got to be feeling good about evening things up.
Oh, it got ugly there for a stretch. Nothing was working, but they've come back and have a chance to seal the deal.
Green kicks to Aldridge. To the paint. Gasol dishes to Aldridge. And the rejection by Jang.
Well, the timing, a very natural aspect of what Gordon Jang does on the defensive end.
Wiggins passes to Teague. Towns the screen. Three-pointer. Butler. Gasol with the rebound. Gasol's got 7 rebounds in the game. Leonard no luck. Minnesota's gone 1 of 3 from outside the arc since we've reached the fourth quarter. Teague kicks to Wiggins. But they'll get another chance.
Yeah, just nice hustle there. That work gets them the extra possession.
That puts them in the lead. That's 28 points for Karl Anthony Towns.
And they shot just over 30% in that first half. Not what they were looking for, obviously, but they're getting much better looks here since halftime and have brought that percentage up.
T kicks to Towns. Feeds to Wiggins. Back to Towns. And it's sent back by Aldridge. And here is Green. Karl Anthony Towns with the rebound. Here's Wiggins. And no good. So the Spurs will take it the other way. They've led by as many as 11 points. Parker outside. And Karl Anthony Towns pulls it down. The Timberwolves trail. Butler kicks to T. Almost, but it rolls out.
Boy, a wide open look from mid-range that goes by the wayside. You can tell he's upset.
Parker against T. A rebound by the Timberwolves.
And it's not easy to get those stops at the rim, but he does a great job with it.
Yeah, he can make it look simple on the interior when it's really not. He knew exactly how to guard on the inside.
And after what was just a horrendous shooting performance in that first half, they're finally starting to find their rhythm here in the second.
Nice work there coming off the screen.
And that was a real quick comeback there. Both sides showing some range.
Well, both teams are pulling the trigger right now, showing great confidence from behind that arc.
Towns, a screen on Parker. Teague dishes to Towns. Off the left rim and out.
Very dangerous to leave a guy like that open. Lucky break there for the D.
Parker kicks to Green. So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And Danny Green, undrafted out of North Carolina. He's been a linchpin of the Spurs' great defense over his career.
You know, 6'6" with that 6'10" wingspan. This is a guy that can block shots like a big man, guards 3 positions, and one of the guys that we call the prototype when you talk about that 3 and D wing player.
First free throw is good.
And one thing you can say about Green, I don't know of too many players who are as dependent on their three-point shot as he is. He needs that shot to be falling for him to make an impact.
Mills, he's checked in for the Spurs. Both good from the line that time. Timberwolves trail by 3. Outside Teague, the feed to Butler. It's rebounded by Aldridge. Aldridge has got 14 rebounds tonight, going after it. Here's Leonard, and the rejection by Towns. And here we go, fast break. Wiggins has got it, and the shot goes in. Wiggins has got 10 points in the quarter.
You know, put a rough first half behind him. He's absolutely crushing it here in the second.
Mills passes to Aldridge. Back to Mills. Right side Aldridge. Clock at 4. And here's Leonard from 3. They get it back. Over Towns. Aldridge dishes to Gasol. The shot will not fall. And Minnesota now the other way. Wiggins with it. Leonard picks him up. Wiggins kicks to Butler. That shot misses. Some solid defense from Gasol. Green left side. Rebounded by the Timberwolves. Wiggins has got his 4th rebound in this one. The dish to Towns. Over Gasol. Jang. It's rebounded by Aldridge. San Antonio's gotten 3 of their 6 3-pointers to fall here in the 4th. Green with a screen on Butler. And Mills kicks to Green. The pass to Leonard. Leonard draws the double. And stolen by Wiggins. Leonard against Butler. Wiggins left side. And that comes off the assist by Jeff Teague. Teague's got 10 assists here tonight. So active.
Big shot maker. Wiggins poised in the clutch.
Mills with it. Picked up by Teague. Good looking screen by Gasol. Nobody near Leonard. A 3-pointer off the mark. Minnesota in the lead. Teague the pass to Butler. LaMarcus Aldridge grabs the miss.
Well, you see the struggles he's having getting anything to go.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously cold right now, but he's trying to find that rhythm. You've got to keep working.
And this atmosphere is bananas.
No doubt. You love seeing him knock down the clutch basket.
Minnesota calls timeout. They're trailing by 1. There's 49 seconds left to play in the final quarter. And now we get the chance to present our Jordan Player of the Game, LaMarcus Aldridge.
And he's provided them with a major mismatch on that low block tonight. That they've been able to lean on his scoring in the paint. And if nothing else has worked, he's given them a reliable option on every possession.
And Minnesota has possession.
Just a cold shooting night. Needs to try to make it into the basket.
The game has come down to this.
Huge possession.
Good looking screen by Gasol. And Mills kicks to Leonard. Whistle on the play. Bucket's good. He'll go to the line.
Big time basket there on the inside. I mean, he had to get that one up and over the big guy.
The ability to score against size, and those were crucial.
Spurs making a switch here. Parker's checked in.
And really a great job to maintain his composure. How about the body control there? Now he gets the and one and turns this into a 2-possession game.
To the middle, up off the screen. Money! And he has brought them to within 2 points. Here's Parker, and now we've got the intentional foul.
Yeah, you can't let him hold the ball and just milk those last seconds away.
And he misses the first one. Boy, he wanted that one to fall. And he does get the second one. And that makes it a 3-point lead. Minnesota calls timeout. They're behind by 3. There's 21 seconds left to play here in the 4th. There's 21 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. Butler is screen on Parker. Butler against Parker. Butler kicks to Wiggins. Launches it. Misses the 3. And they foul intentionally. That's what they have to do at this point. He drops the first one, and that gives them a 4-point cushion. Second one is good. Getting both at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
That ought to do it. I think any chance for a miracle comeback just went out the window with those freebies.
And so it's San Antonio with the win. A narrow win under difficult circumstances, Greg, as the visiting team.
It really was, but that didn't seem to bother them. I mean, road team, home team, all I know is they were the better team.
Well said. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Thank you, Kevin. Danny, a strong defensive effort both individually and team. Now, how comfortable are you at that end of the floor now, knowing that you can make things tough on the opposition?
Well, we want to make them take tough shots. We're not comfortable at any point defensively, but we got to continue to be active and be aggressive and get our hands on loose balls.
It's been the mark of the Spurs for a long time, Danny. Thanks. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you, David. Great interview once again. And that about wraps it up. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and David Aldridge, and the rest of our terrific crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching. We'll see you later.